Um,
Okay,
that correspondence about the fire, I mean, the cell tower,
Yes.
did you guys get that in your email?
Yes.
Yeah, I
I
spoke
don't
to.
have it.
okay, that's on the agenda.
Okay.
Right.
So if we could,
I don't have it in front of me.
can we start the meeting now then?
I'm ready.
Go.
So Lynn, Dave will not be with us tonight.
Oh, okay.
First item is the standard notice from Loubouchon. I believe this is for them to continue with their license. And I don't think that we need to take any action on it. This is just acknowledgement that we received it.
Which
Okay.
is nice.
Yes,
Nice
yes.
that they get it to us.
It's nice that they
beforehand.
got it to us without asking for
Yes,
a waiver, so that's good.
okay. The next
First.
topic is the hiring of Dominic Maglio as a seasonal laborer with the highway department. The hiring salary, oh, hi, Mike. Michael Turton is with us.
Mike Hart.
Oh, Mike,
The
He's muted.
salary will be $13.50. I make a motion to hire Dominic as a part-time, as a seasonal highway worker
I'll second that.
at, I'm sorry, at a $13.50 an hour. I apologize.
That's okay, and I will second it at $13.50.
Okay, any comments?
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so that is the unanimous. The next is to accept the resignation of Scott Morris. Scott sent a letter to Officer in Charge Larry Burke on June 11th, which reads as follows. Dear Officer in Charge Burke, please accept this letter as formal notification of my resignation as a police officer for the Village of Cold Spring effective immediately. Due to circumstances beyond my control, it has been determined that I can no longer effectively perform my duties as a police officer for the village. It has been a pleasure working for the village and serving with and under the command of Officer in Charge Burke for the last 6 months. I thank you for the opportunity to have worked in Cold Spring. I wish all of you and the residents of the village all the best. Sincerely, Scott Morris. I'd like to make a motion to accept Officer Morris's letter of resignation.
I'll second.
Thank you, Steve. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, so we have unanimous motion there.
I'd like to abstain.
Okay. Since you're abstaining, we still have 3 votes of ayes, so the motion will pass.
Okay.
The next topic is an application from the Clearwater to dock at the village dock on Friday afternoon, June 26th, and leaving late in the morning, Saturday morning, July 27th. Any discussion on this?
Are they just stopping to stay the night and then heading on, or are they gonna, I couldn't get a sense from their application here whether they were gonna take passengers on rides or anything like that.
To the best of my knowledge, no. There will be no rides being offered and no entry onto the vessel.
Okay.
It's I believe, although I have not talked to them, that they are in transit. So this is a place to stay overnight.
Got it.
So I'd like them to make any other comments?
No, I'm good.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the application for the Clearwater to dock at Main Street from June 26th to June 27th, waiving the docking fees.
I'll second.
Thank you, Lynn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. The next topic is correspondence that was received from David Eisenbach to Fran Murphy. Fran, do you have it in the letter in front of you?
I can pull it up in about 2 seconds. Okay. Do you want me to read the whole?
Sure.
Okay. The email says, hello, Trustee Murphy. This week, the Putnam County News and Recorder published an op-ed I wrote about how the proposed Nelsonville cell tower threatens firefighters and endangered bats. And he gives the reference. I've attached the piece with the links to all the supporting documents because the latest proposal calls for a fire access road with a gradient that violates the New York State Fire Code. The only way the project can go forward is if the Cold Spring Fire Company okays the code violation. For reasons explained in the article, this code violation involving the gradient combined with the severe switchbacks and gravel road will threaten the lives of members of your fire department. This issue concerns the lives of Cold Spring residents who are members of the fire department. My question is whether you and your board have any role in the discussion. Seems to me that you should. I would gladly answer any questions you have and or take you on a tour of the site to see how deadly it will be. Signed, David Eisenbach. And he attached the article, which is quite lengthy. And the gist of it is, let me go back because there is another, okay. The important part of it that I sent to to Tom Merrigan today was Homeland's latest building application also contains a New York State Fire Code violation that endangers firefighters and residents in the woods around the site. New York State Fire Code indicates a maximum 10% gradient for fire access roads. The latest building application shows an access drive to the cell tower with 14.89 gradient. That's a huge difference. The International Building Code prohibits parking garage ramps from exceeding just 6.67%. And he goes on and then he says, it's another bait and switch. And he said, what were 2 bends in the road in the court agreement have now become 2 severe switchbacks in the latest permit application. Driving a fire truck loaded with 1,000 gallons of water up and down a steep gradient on a short roadway with 2 hairpin turns will be extremely dangerous under normal conditions and downright deadly in an emergency. Remember, the cell site is in the woods. Imagine you're a volunteer firefighter driving a fire truck down a dark, steep, twisting, possibly icy road surrounded by smoke and burning trees while trying to fight a fire, et cetera, et cetera. Dave had asked me today to check with Tom Merrigan at the fire company, so I sent this off to him along with the attachment and all of this that I just read to you. Tom came back and said, Fran, I have signed off on the project. The approval letter that was sent to Nelsonville, I will leave a copy at the Cold Spring Village office for the board. We are very aware of Mr. Eisenbach. He has been contacting the fire company. And then Dave went back and just said, Tom, just to be clear, is there a new design for the road with tight switchbacks? Is this the design you signed off on? Just want to make sure you signed off on the final design. And Tom answered Dave, yes, it was the final plan I signed off on. The letter explains everything. So that's as far as it will go. He's sending a copy of the letter he sent to Nelsonville to Jeff in the office. And he says he's fine with it. He signed off on it.
Right. And I believe that there was an article in the Highlands Current yesterday where Tom was quoted as saying that fires around surrounding cell towers are typically brush fires or vandalism, that their water truck can make the grade, and there is sufficient room for the fire truck as well, so they don't see, they feel that they can support the cell tower with the equipment that they have.
Okay.
Okay. So the next topic is approval of bills. Fran?
Okay, I make a motion to accept batch number 5606 in the amount of $28,348.58 for fiscal year 2021.
I second the motion. Any discussion?
Can you repeat those numbers? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Batch number is 5606, amount 28348.58.
Very good. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Any discussion on that?
No.
Okay, everyone, please indicate your approval with a yes, an aye.
Aye.
Well, thank you. No one's opposed. Very
No
good.
opposed.
And
And I
then,
second motion to approve batch number 5605 in the amount of the amount of 13,528.19 for fiscal year 1920.
I'll second that.
any discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. The next topic is approval of the June 2nd minutes. I make a motion to approve those minutes.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
No.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 No one, no opposed. Excellent. And then I make a motion to approve the next topic is the June 9th minutes. I make a motion to approve the minutes from June 9th.
I'll second that.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay. The next topic then is the code update. I'd like to defer chapter 64-10 until Dave can be with us, since he and Steve had the concerns about that. Steve, I think I know that I sent out an email last Wednesday with the change to chapter 64 and a change to chapter 10. You may or may not have any comments on that, but I think we need to wait for Dave.
Yes.
Okay, great. On chapter 71, I'd like to hold off on that because Fran, you were going to look into that.
Yeah, I've got about a third of it rewritten, pulling from about 6 different municipalities.
Okay,
So I will continue through and hopefully have it for our next meeting.
okay. And Lynn, you were going to work on a generic permit application?
Yeah. And I got a copy of the vendor application that we have now. Do we want to make this more like, what other kinds of things do you imagine these people might use this application for? Other than vendors or street selling or food trucks or anything like that? Anything else?
Yes.
I can
all
send
three
you,
of them.
I'm sorry, I can send you, and I've pulled about, as I say, 4 or 5 different municipalities, and in their code, they list all of the things that are required in their application. Now, I was hoping not to do that, but I can send you some of that information. I'll send it to everyone. I think some of it is overkill. A lot of it may be overkill, but some of it is important. You know, you have to have the right licenses and so on and so forth. So I'll send you from different municipalities what their codes say about what's in their application.
Okay, that would be really helpful. I mean,
And then,
I started listing a bunch of stuff that we could put in there, and then I just got a little lost because I didn't know how far to really go with it or how to limit it. You know,
and I don't know if, you know, whether we want to put a lot of those questions into the codes or on the application, or, you know, so it may, so, you know, I'll send you what I have found so far on a handful, 2 of the municipalities John had suggested to us. And I looked at a couple of others. I think Clarkstown was one, and Beacon had a fairly good one.
okay.
So a couple of them.
I would recommend that parades be included in there.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. That was what I missed. Okay.
Could, Fran, when you list out the topics, could you send that to me as well? Since
Absolutely, yeah.
many of the there are a number of other permits and licenses which the village currently has. So, for example, there's a street opening permit. There's a permit
That's
for,
specific to that.
the street opening permit is typically highway approves that.
Right.
And it's identified in the highway, in the chapter on highway. So we've already got a bunch, so let's make sure that we don't duplicate the work.
Right. I was thinking as I was going through of the application that we have for filming, you know, and the application we have for the parks. And, you know, we don't want to duplicate any of that stuff. I mean, some of them are
Well,
big.
Right.
Well, I mean, this is licensing. This
Right.
chapter is on licensing.
Right.
And the park application, I think, is in the recreation chapter.
Mhm.
You mentioned another one. So these should be permits for licenses.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so the next topic is recycling.
Oh, fun.
Okay, so that would be chapter 93.
Okay, I have not,
Pull this up.
and I apologize, Marie, because I have not gotten to 93. I'm still stuck on 71.
Okay, so I'm assuming that, has anyone gone through sewers, chapter 97?
No.
Okay, 104, which is signs and placards.
I haven't, other than I got stuck in 71, Marie, and I haven't moved on, and I apologize.
Okay, so I don't think there's any more progress we can make on the code update tonight. I'm going to see if Dave would be amenable to a meeting next
Tuesday?
Tuesday. Yeah. And if he is, the topics would be chapter 64, chapter 71, chapter 93, chapter 97.
Okay. Okay, and I will,
I thought
will-
I
I
had
promise.
something on signs and placards, but somehow I can't. I'm trying to get the document back up and I lost it. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I had some stuff on there. I just,
Okay.
anyway, sorry.
That's okay. Okay, so I think that's it for tonight then. Do we have anyone else on the call who wishes to make a public comment?
you have to unmute if John or Mike do.
I have a question.
Mike, go ahead.
I'm just wondering with phase 3, did it actually start today? I think it was supposed to start today.
It did.
And I'm just wondering if any of the strategies discussed in the last few weeks about Main Street, are they still being discussed? Or are some possibly still going to be adopted? Or what's the status of that?
To the best of my knowledge, the diagram for the street, for the traffic flow has not been received by the village office. So there's nothing going on with that.
The diagram from a resident.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, there were two residents,
I remember.
Tara and Mr. Trow.
All right. So but the board's not at this moment going ahead with any of the discussions that were talked about, like using certain parking spaces for restaurant space or one-way traffic. None of that's being considered by the board itself.
Correct. Mr. Trow was going to forward a diagram to illustrate traffic flow. And we haven't gotten anything yet.
It was 3 weeks
Thank
ago.
you. And then just a final question I wanted to ask Trustee Murphy. why she abstained on the vote on Scott Morris's
You really
resignation.
want to break my check?
Pardon?
I abstained because while I appreciate the fact that Scott Morris submitted his resignation, I don't agree with what went on to get to this point, and I think that we had done our due diligence. We did everything we had to do, and he was very upfront with us when he applied for this job, and I think he deserved this job, and I don't think I am glad I'm glad he did what he told us he was going to do. I don't agree with the whole situation.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Fran.
Any other comments?
I have a question.
John, hi.
Hi, Marie. How are you?
Okay.
Thanks. I was just wondering with regards to this weekend, are the bathrooms going to be open down at the chamber for people coming into the village now that we're on phase 3?
No. Again, the requirements are to sanitize the public restrooms 3 times a day, and we do not have the funding or the personnel to do that. Sanitize, not clean.
Oh, when is the plan to open those? Because I know that our church on Fair Street has now been getting inundated by hikers walking by and trying to come into our parish and use the bathrooms. So the burden is on the local businesses in the town.
I believe the restrooms at Little Stony Point are still open.
Should there be a sign or something to let our hiker friends and people coming into the village know that, so that when they go to that bathroom down at the bottom of the street, maybe it should be posted that there are bathrooms up in Little Stony Point?
We can certainly look into that.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Anyone else?
No.
Okay, can I make a motion to adjourn?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Hi.
Hi.
Aye.
Okay, that's it. Thank you very much, everyone.
Hey, what
Thank
time do
you.
you think that meeting would be on
6:30. 6:30.
6:30 at 6:30?
Yes, yes, that's it. Very good, Steve.
6.
Hey,
Today's the 23rd.
Very good. I'll be there.
thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Good night.
All right, everybody.